Hi everyone and welcome back to WARNO Super League. Today we are watching Chich and Buff, who sound like two mafia code names from some kind of 50s movie in New York. So Chich is on the left in blue playing as the first armoured Brits again. And then over on the right we have Buff playing as the second Panzer Grenadiers. Not a team we see out very much, or a division we see out very much. So a lot at the top here for Chich. He's going for the centre as well. Plenty of forward deployment stuff. Obviously, not the only person with forward deployment. Buff also has that. Buff will get to Echo in no time at all. And actually, to be fair, Chich hasn't put his eggs in that basket. Chich is going for a defensive positioning here. Over at the back, we can see there is some stuff coming over this way defensively. But really, Chich is pushing for the centre. Getting into these buildings here. Obviously going to be going up against the FS Jaeger, but will have plenty of forces himself. Here, interestingly, Buff is going really far forward. He will get there first, but he will be up against these guys pretty soon, including the Milan Para there. That will do some damage from range and take out these vehicles potentially. Gazelle rockets being used to good effect here, just for early harassment by the looks of it. Lux will cause issues for these infantry hitting from range, but the Gazelles will make short work of the Lux if they can stay at range and do some damage. Good shout from Buff though. Gina rocket coming in to take out those choppers very effectively with the assistance of the Lux and also doing some damage to the ground units there. That Gazelle doing some damage here. Tornado in, going for the other Tornado. Tornado versus Tornado, and Chich has it. Another Tornado is in though. Lots of expense on jets for this early on in the game. That Tornado is probably going to go down here. Yes, it does. I think only that one Tornado died for Chich. Buff, I think, only lost one Tornado as well. I think the rocket attack jet got out intact. Multiple commands in for Buff at the moment. Just the one command in for Chich. He's going for a counter to that at the moment. I expect we're going to see another one coming in to cap Hotel and Golf. Chich has managed to get himself into this position, also will take Foxtrot. Ongoing battle down here. The Lux is getting closer and closer and has suffered for it. Carl Gustaf has destroyed it. This is the risk with getting these units a bit closer. The Carl Gustavs can deal with them, but not a lot here for Chich right now. He needs something that can deal with these tanks and the Lux from range. SAS patrol down here could be pushed right up into this point. There's not a lot in Echo defending it. It's going to depend a lot on where things are spent. HE bomber coming in there. Jaguar, there is a Jeopard there, but it's busy firing at the Gazelle. This could be a beautiful strike. Oh, very nice. Got the tank there. Probably worth it in the long run just to kill it at this stage. Unfortunately, did lose the bomber. Tornado will get out alive, but killing that tank is probably going to make a huge difference to being able to push the other forces forward. The Lux will not be as effective against those. Oh, it's dead anyway. Chieftain Mark 11 from the other side of the river. Didn't even see that there. Beautiful, beautiful maneuver. That was a very nice shot. So Chich in a good position here. Reasonable position here. Not a lot there though. Just a couple of infantry squads really. Good use of that Chieftain though to take out that vehicle. Not a lot in the centre for Buff at all. Buff obviously railing in those points at the moment at +5. Command finally coming in at this side for Chich. So we'll cap Hotel and Golf. So, initial battle settled. I feel like we're now going to have a little bit of a build-up of forces. I think Chich would like to push through this point. I mean, there's nothing really defending that command. So, if he can get his infantry up quickly, he can kill that. Obviously, he doesn't know this. We're seeing what he can't. Let's see where these paras are actually going. So, they're just coming up to here at the moment. They're not going much further. Reinforcements are coming in for Buff. I assume heading towards there. Rocket attack jet coming. What? Where's that going? Testing for air defense, maybe? Two anti-tank jets coming in there. Going for that Chieftain? No. Oh, they went for the jet. Now, this is one area that Chich is going to struggle because in terms of anti-air, he's relying on the tractor rapiers and also man pads, basically. It's not like he's got anything super special to bring in. So Buff could use that to his advantage by bringing in a lot of aircraft. I assume that Chich has at least another tornado, but I don't know for certain. But right now, I mean, Buff's in a good position to use these jets without, I mean, a little bit of damage there, obviously, from the Javelin, but I don't feel like there's too much threat against Buff's aircraft. Reinforcements arriving here now, needing to defend this. I assume we're not going to see much movement from these infantry at the moment. Obviously, not a lot going on back here. Those rifles kind of just sat there. Will need to be moved up. Paras there could also be moved up potentially. Anti-tank coming in here. How lucky was that? That was... See the curve on that missile? Barely even had to look at the unit. Sometimes the missiles behave a little bit weirdly in WARNO for me. So, a little bit of slow build up here. That should neutralize the points now once that is captured. Stalemated, but a good head start for Buff at 697 points. Looks like Buff is now making sure to bring in a couple of units down here to reinforce Echo. I expect most of the fighting we're going to see is going to be in the center point here. In all honesty, reinforcements coming in here, most of which are coming to the center. In fact, all of which are going to this. No, one is going up here. But this will be interesting. I mean, Chich needs to be really careful because his ground units are at serious risk from Buff's aircraft. So, you know, investing in anti-air is important, but Chich doesn't have great anti-air. There's no beating around the bush. The Brits do not have the best anti-air in the game. So this is where they're going to struggle. The 2nd Infantry have better anti-air because they do have the radar-based rapier that can take out aircraft. But the 1st Armoured do not get that. So this is going to be a difficult one for Chich in terms of taking out a lot of these bombers and stuff that come in. It really depends on how much Buff is going to rely on them. Could easily play that to his advantage, may not do so. It's difficult to say. Certainly so far, isn't afraid to call in plenty of AA, or plenty of aircraft, sorry. And very little AA himself, funnily enough. There is literally the Jeopard there. And that is really... In fact, there's nowhere anti-air there, is there? There's literally the Jeopard. He's relying on the Tornado for anti-air cover. More Gazelles coming in here. Interesting choice. How much anti-air does Chich now have? There is another Javelin being called in there, but there isn't actually any air defense in this zone, which is a little bit concerning. Up here, you've got at least one Javelin and the Tracked Rapier. The Tracked Rapier isn't a bad unit, but it fires slowly. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage. It was better before it was slowed down against choppers and things. Here we go. So, big strike coming in. Multiple bombers, 3 HE bombers, and an anti-tank. This is going to be really messy, and there's nothing to stop them. Tornado is coming in at the back there, but immediate response from 2 tornadoes there. This tornado and this tornado need to get out. This one is going to try and engage these, I think. These are focused on that one. It is turning around to fight. An anti-tank jet coming in here for Buff as well. Both players have lost 1 tornado each. 1 long-range missile left, 1 long-range missile left, 1 short-range. That's already taking damage from the Jeopard, though. That's going to die. And that must be potentially all of Chich's tornadoes dead. And Buff's will get out alive because there was no AA there. This is a challenging game for Chich, with a lack of ground AA that is capable against aircraft. And now the loss of so many tornadoes. This is going to be a really challenging game, I think. Ihawk's coming in over there for Buff. Still, this ongoing battle down here. That's very close from Milan, but it is an AVRE, so it's not going to do a lot of damage to a vehicle. Really, these rifles need to push up and kill that. And the rifles will make short work of it, but need to get up there. There's a Leopard coming in here as well. These units are moving up, as suspected they might. Here, there's sort of a little bit of prodding and poking going on at this top bit, but it's not going to make too much difference. Anti-tank jet coming in again there. As I say, Buff is leaning in heavily to jets, with good reason. Arm rifles here will be able to... What's the range on them, actually? Not close enough to do the rocket launcher yet. They only have a 675 meter range on the rocket launcher. Carl Gustav, however, has, I believe, an 850. The same as, yeah. Everything is 850 here, so will be very effective against vehicles that get too close. Interestingly, Jägeraufkel are routed. Now, it feels right now like Chich is very secure here, but is starting to struggle here. I mean, certainly in terms of firepower, this tank's making a difference here, and there is a chieftain coming in. That's good, because I feared that might cause more issues. AT coming in there, yeah, instantly dead. I mean, there's just the lack of anti-air for the first armoured is making everything that comes up front and centre really easy pickings for Buff. Tracked Rapier coming in now. I mean, it's about trying to punish Buff for bringing out these aircraft, and it's going to be so difficult because that didn't really have to fly over Chich's units to kill that tank. And I mean, that Javelin didn't even fire. So I feel like this is going to be really challenging if Buff keeps using aircraft in this very sensible, aggressive but still standoffish kind of way. I mean, you know, Buff is not overextending. Immediately killed an anti-air unit that was up front. You know, there's going to be no let up in this. He knows that he has to kill javelins. He knows he has to kill the rapiers. I think there's going to be some very surgical strikes against certain units in this game by Buff. There is a tornado in. Maybe Chich has more than one card, but that could be 2 cards of 2, and that's them all gone. Because he has lost 3 tornadoes. Yeah, pulling back immediately there. A wise idea. There is an Eyehawk there. There is a Jeopard there. Needs to be so careful with that tornado. I wouldn't be keeping it in the map longer than necessary. Because once Buff's tornadoes are repaired, or at least the one he definitely has, not sure if more are available. Artillery piece in there for Buff now. First artillery piece of the match. I'm finding this difficult to call. I feel like right now, air power is definitely on Buff's side. Ground forces, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I feel like there's potential for Buff to just overpower with an air force, but equally, you know, there is potential that Chich can shoot down a lot of this stuff in the grand scheme of things. Buff has a very nice head start on those points, though. Chieftain here getting some shots off on these infantry. Chieftain, a really nice unit, is in range to hit the Leopard, but I don't think can see it. Plenty of infantry moving in here are potentially able to get close enough to kill that command vehicle, to be fair. Would need to keep moving into that corner, though. I assume Chich just knows there's nothing down here, since the focus is there. Marder and Jeopard being used as anti-ground right now, obviously laying down significant fire on those rifles. The rifles getting smashed. Leopard retreating on 1 pip of health. Chieftain also retreating. Another Chieftain is coming in, though. Anti-tank jet coming in there. Ooh. These jets are taking damage, but this is like an all-out assault. Look at the amount of stuff coming in there. Wow. And unfortunately, there just isn't enough. One jet down. From the, what, 5 jets that came in, 1 is being killed. The rest survived, I think. I don't see any other crashing, burning jets anywhere. And that's with 2 tracked rapiers and a javelin. And these things fire so slowly now. They're not going to be, you know, they're going to be able to target 1 jet, and then the next one's going to probably get past. Really good attempt by Chich there to push forward, but yeah, got absolutely wrecked by all of those jets coming in. Another HE bomber coming in. I mean, Chich's advantage here is 1 at a time. He can maybe take out these jets. That is so unlucky. Oh, beautiful strike, but the tornado is going to die. It's going to be very lucky. There's another tornado seed coming in there. Got the Eye-Hawk, very nice. Yeah, other tornado is dead, and the seed is dead as well. That is an expensive set of losses. I mean, as soon as those tornadoes came in from Buff, and again, he has 2 of them, you know, that was not going to end well. Poor Chich, that's going to be an expensive and painful set of losses there. Did manage to kill the jet that came in beforehand, of course. Looks right now like a little bit stalemated in the center here. Has been some attempts by Chich to push out. Unfortunately, has lost the tank that was up here. He's bringing in the Challenger Mark II, though, to try and deal with his Leopard 2A3. Currently busy engaging on the Jaeger Aufkl. What is the range on that? Yeah, the Leopard is out of range. The Challenger I would be very worried about. Loads more AA coming in for Chich. Chich has realised that what he's got just is not enough. Chich can turn the tide here by having enough AA that Buff doesn't want to bring his jets out anymore. But it's a challenge to get to that stage as the first British. It's not like you can whip out a couple of cubs. Chieftain, very good against these Pioneers because obviously they don't have anti-tank. Milan's potentially can do a lot of damage. There isn't actually a tank here, though. Oh. Jaeger Aufkl, however, will absolutely tear that Chieftain apart. Oh, yeah. Too close. Too close. A little bit of Icarus flying too close to the sun there, unfortunately. But you don't know until you get there, unfortunately, is the issue in these types of games. Sometimes you push, 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 and then, unfortunately, you meet that resistance. And I always forget to hit my smoke. That's my problem. Sometimes that can mean the difference between your tank surviving and not. Leopard is getting wrecked by that Challenger Mark II. It is smoked and retreating, however. And here comes the AT to take out the Challenger. Can the anti-tank jet be killed? Smoke down. Good choice. Plenty of missiles going after it. Very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. Unfortunately, that javelin wasn't out, or it might have got that shot off that finished the job. It'll be repairing a while, though. It will be repairing a while. But I imagine that we're going to see some artillery fire against those anti-air units. Coming back in for another attempted strike. That's going to be costly. It's got to die. There we go. Wow. How many missiles missed there? It was one of these units that got it. I think this tracked rapier finished the job. Expensive losses on both sides at the moment when it comes to aircraft. But I certainly think Buff is ahead in terms of kills at the moment from the aircraft side of things. Such a huge cluster. I mean, you know, all these things so close together. If Chich had the bombers and there wasn't a lot of tornadoes ready to come in, he could make a real mess of that corner. Because everything is kind of stacked up. Especially the command vehicle there. I mean, I would certainly, if I knew roughly where that was, be considering a command snipe. Just to try and swing the points a little bit in my favour. But that said, of course, Buff is ready with another command back here. Although if he swings it in the middle, those rifles will get a lucky hit. What was that going down there? Helo? I assume that was one of Buff's helos. I didn't even see it. I just saw a missile come out. Another Challenger Mark II coming out there. Oh, hang on. The Challenger Mark II up here is dead. It's gone. I didn't even see that die. The Jaguars must have got it. Oh, that's an unfortunate loss. He'd been doing really well keeping that alive, especially against the jets that were coming in. I'll be disappointed with that. Arm Rifles pushing up here with the Warriors. Warriors getting a little bit out far ahead of them, unfortunately. FS Jaeger and FS Jaeger Aufkel immediately taking out on those Warriors. You've got to be so careful in WARNO with your APCs and your transport vehicles because they will just race ahead of your infantry. And without having that cover, they are really easy to pop with the anti-tank. I mean, the Panzer Force there, yeah, immediate pop. This is why I have, you know, real reservations when I build my decks about how many of them I bring. Because unless I'm using them at range with missiles, I just feel they're so vulnerable to just one squad of infantry with an anti-tank weapon. Good push here, but again, Chich unfortunately in one building, and I think very shortly we're going to see a bunch of bombers coming in. AVRE will be very effective against these units. Unfortunately, the Jaeger will get a shot. The Marder will get a shot. AVRE, good unit, but again, so weak to any anti-tank. It's just not got that much armor. 12 front, 4 side. And, you know, most of these weapons do a lot of damage. I mean, the Panzer Force there, 14 penetration. So it's doing 2 damage from the front, but if you get a side shot, you know, that's 10 damage. So it can be devastating. I should stress, actually, that the damage calculation is slightly different for HE than it is for the standard kinetic rounds. So it doesn't exactly ring true, to be fair. There is a table somewhere, you can look it up. But I just keep it simple by saying stuff like that. But technically, there is a full calculation for it. Buff getting a little bit more ballsy up at the top here, pushing in. That Challenger, unfortunately, about to take a lot of missiles. That Leo might finish it off here. Yeah, something's going to kill it. The Challenger's dead. Yeah, there it goes. That's an unfortunate loss of another Challenger. He'll be disappointed with that. Leopard 2A3 taking the brunt of any shots up here. Law 80 will be useful, but again, there is another Leo 2A3 there. HE Bomber coming in, I assume going to go for the tank. Tornadoes immediately in to take it out, though, so it will drop its bombs. It may get a kill. Went for the Jeopard at the back, and the tank at the back will get the kills, but unfortunately is dead. And here's the Retribution buff immediately. HE Bomber, 80, 80, and another HE, all coming down here. Yeah, here it goes. And there's just so many aircraft. Chich's AA just doesn't know what to fire at. One aircraft down. Can it get the other HE Bomber there? Yes, it does. 2 down. Can it get an AT jet as well? This is massively overextending by Buff there. He lost 3 jets. Possibly about to lose another one. Very lucky. Very lucky. But yeah, that was a serious case of overextending by Buff. Obviously feeling quite confident, managing to push back over here. And, you know, securing this town completely again. But, yeah, bringing in so many aircraft at once. Good for distracting, but then to swing them back round over the area. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm waiting there for the Retribution. Immediately, those artillery pieces targeting the anti-air, and this is one of those things in WARNO when you're playing at this level in the tournaments. You got to get used to moving your anti-air after they fire, And it's easy to forget when you're concentrating on a battle on the ground up here or down here. Back to +1 currently for Buff, with just over 15 minutes left of this match. It's been tense. Buff's always had that points lead, but Chich has been doing a good job on the ground, but the air power from Buff has made a significant difference, and the lack of decent anti-air for the Brits has made it very challenging, I think, for Chich. Just how slow those tracked rapiers fire, and just how few anti-air units they get in general. It's very, very difficult. And obviously good use of artillery by Buff to take out the anti-air units. I mean, you can see up here, there's no more tracked rapiers up there. There's a couple of javelins down at the bottom, and there's one tracked rapier remaining here. I have no idea if that's marked. It's currently out of ammo anyway. Little bit of push here again by Chich, getting these assault pioneers up close. Getting shot at from every side. Though the command vehicle is showing where it is right now. Tank down again. Assault Pioneers still alive. They are a big squad. These Assault Pioneers need to shift as well. Command is being moved. Rifles pushing here. FS Jaeger may see them. If these rifles can push up here quickly, they will kill that command. Oh, the command is getting shot up by the Fox. Fox is missing horrendously. Oh, finally got a hit. Oh, I'd be very disappointed with that Fox's performance there. Missing so much. HE Bomber coming in there. What was it going for? I didn't even see. I assume it dropped over here. It is certainly dead, though. Rocket attack jet coming in to take out those rifles. Immediately, absolutely scrambled on the floor. That command should die. Wow, this Fox is being a huge disappointment. There it goes, finally. Wow. Chich's push is actually succeeding here. I'm genuinely impressed, Chich. I thought you were going to have serious issues, but you are actually managing to push. Full credit to you. I honestly thought you were going to get completely overwhelmed. Jeopard laying down a lot of fire, but this has gone surprisingly well with just a few units. I honestly thought Buff had more there. Rocket attack jets again, and there's just nothing there to shoot them down. It's really difficult as the first armoured. I'm not even sure that poor Chich will have any anti-air left in his deck now. That could be it. He's called in a lot of javelins and called in quite a few tracked rapiers, and most of them are dead. So I do fear that there just isn't anti-air left. How many jets Buff has left? I'd say at least 3-4 ground attack, assuming he doesn't have any more to buy. Command infantry coming in now. One will be for that corner, one will be for this corner, most certainly. Loads of reinforcements coming in here, and just one Assault Pioneer squad left in that building. These Assault Pioneers are coming back in, but their cohesion is low. Chich trying to reinforce this top area. This is very difficult, though. Interestingly, the Leo 203 is routed. Oh, it is not ranked up. It is just plain normal rank. Yeah, no wonder it's dropped its cohesion so low. So ranking up makes a huge difference now since Udino, in terms of if you don't rank your units up, they take a lot of cohesion damage very, very quickly. Fox pushing around the side here is probably going to fall victim to those Marders. Lots and lots of infantry coming in here. One Assault Pioneers looks to be dead. Other one running back out the way. That command infantry is working its way in. Currently it is +2 to Chich. He has swung it. Oh, but look at the bottom of the map. Haven't been looking down here for a while. Buff is on the move. Taking out what few defensive forces there are here. That is going to cause a big distraction for Chich. He has to make a decision. Does he try and hold hotel as well, or does he keep trying to pump things in elsewhere? Obviously, there has been an expenditure down here for Buff to be able to do this, but not a lot of units 2 cheap 1A5s, a scimitar, and some Jaeger Aufkull. SAS patrol are almost dead. I mean, the Milan is out of missiles as well. And I expect that Buff will take hotel. Yep, there it is. Command coming in, going straight to hotel. I was going to say, Command is back here, the Jaeger Commander. And the Jaeger Commander, there was one for here as well. At least I thought there was. I'm not seeing it. Huh. Is that the one that... Did that come from the other side of the map? I am really confused. I assumed it was just called in here. But I thought there was another commander that was heading into this point. Well, either it's been killed, or that's it down there. I'm honestly not sure. A little bit confused. I'll have to check the video when I check the replay. So, +2 currently to Chich. Slowly catching up in points. 9 minutes to go. Technically, I think Chich could push above 800 points in 9 minutes. However, Chich having to frantically call reinforcements in down here. Look at all of this being called in now. I mean, a decision has been made by Buff. Buff is taking hotel. Will hold whatever little corner he can of these points, but is going to take hotel. That is a lot of units to be calling in there. This game is tense. It is a very tense game. You'll notice that there's a lot less aircraft coming out now. There's a lot more focus on the ground combat. I expect we will see Buff's aircraft again before the end of this match, though. Buff, again, has been completely pushed out of Foxtrot, but has a few units sort of defensively placed in here, including those Jaguars. Good use of artillery to take out units at the back here. And he's obviously being quite aggressive down here. Gazelle is coming in. Jeopard's going to make short work of that. Quite a few units here as well. Rifles will kill the Leopard, though. Rifles could potentially also kill the Jeopard if they get close enough. This is a really challenging game for both players. Oh, there we go. Speaking of anti-tank jets and rocket jets, here they come. Anti-tank flew straight over. There's no anti-air there, obviously. Chich with the tank went back into the forest. Gazelle has been taken out by that. Oh dear. Chieftain is stunned. AA jets did come in. There's a tornado seed coming in to take out the jets. It's used its AIM-9s already, but it got a kill. It took out the rocket jet. Tornadoes obviously coming in, but from way over the other side of the map. There's a tracked rapier. And a javelin. He still has some anti-air. I honestly thought he'd ran out. Well, I mean, Chich has certainly slowed down Buff. Buff's reinforcements are on the way. This commander, however... Oh, those rifles are so close. But if they go into these buildings, I think the Jeopard could fight. No, they can't. It doesn't have a line of sight. Scimitar. Scimitar could fire at that building, I think. But the reinforcements are soon to be there. I mean, Chich is pushing up here as well. But those Jaguars are going to stop the Challenger in its tracks and the vehicles. This corner, obviously... Chich doing a really good job at penning in Buff on the ground. I mean, it's been a difficult one to call on the ground. Chieftain Command coming in at the top there. I feel like Chich has had a little bit of an edge on the ground for the entire game, but Buff has very much been in control of the airspace. Buff also doing a really good job with those artillery. He's all those Marders coming in. Soul Pioneers there will be effective against the infantry, but the Martyrs will tear them to shreds. Everything here feels very defensive in nature. Warrior firing at the Jaguar. They might kill each other here. No. Warrior missed. Warrior smoked. Chieftain got a shot off at the Jaguar. Somehow did not kill it. What's the damage on the Chieftain's gun? 19 damage. And it didn't kill it in one hit. Eh? At max range, it does 19 damage. -3 is 16. That wasn't even at max range. And that only has 3 front armor. And 10 hit points. I'm really confused as to how that didn't die in one hit. I assume it was a glancing blow? Random number generator engage. Anti-tank jets coming in. 1 tank dead. Challenger 2 surviving at the moment. Smoked itself. Rocket attack jet coming in again. Anti-tank jet is dead. Tornado's still flying around. Seed is getting hit pretty hard. The Seed might get out. It will get out, I think. Yeah, that should get out. Anti-tank jet still swinging around the top there. And the rocket attack jet still swinging around here. Wow. Chich has made it all the way to the edge of that point. Will go for that command infantry. Rocket attack jet, though, doing a serious amount of damage and managing to somehow fire sideways at the warrior. Again, rockets and missiles in this game, sometimes a little bit weird. Command is now in here. This is now neutralized. 708 versus 807. They're back to front, which is quite amusing. 3 minutes left of this game. And what a game it's been. I think this is the most tense game of the tournament so far. And we're only in round 1 for these casts. I mean, I'm genuinely... I can't say for definite who's going to win. I mean, my head is that Buff is going to win because he's ahead right now, but everything could change because currently it's just neutralized. So, you know, if Chich can get that command tank in here and not get it killed, it'll be +1 for 2 minutes-ish. If only he could see that with that rocket chopper. Jeopard's going to make short work of that chopper, though. I think, you know, the paras there obviously will be taking... It's really, really difficult for poor Chich right now. If only that command tank was in there already. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Centurion's being brought in and a Challenger Mark II there. Command is dead in this point, though. And without a command, this command can be moved. Where is it going? It's moving further into the point. I almost would want to move that back here to try and get it in this point. I don't know. This is really, really difficult. That Chieftain is moving up very slowly. Obviously, you need to be very careful with it, but it's currently +2 to Buff. I don't think that Chich can make up the points now. I think this has gone to Buff, but what a game, guys. You've both played so well. And Chich, considering you're playing the first Armoured, and it has a major issue with anti-air, you've done a stellar job being able to still push the ground the way you have. And Buff, very, very good job at using your artillery and exploiting that lack of anti-air for the British. I mean, you've both played really well here. I genuinely couldn't decide who was going to win this, but I think with a minute left, the game will go to... Chich with a sneaky Sultan round the back. It's not the first time we've seen that in this tournament. It is not a bad strategy. You can now just swing round and steal people's points. If they've got nothing there to defend, you can just swing round and cap them. And that's it. He now has to bring a command back to recap. Sultan is going to move down the edge of the map to there, but unfortunately with 25 seconds left, it's not going to be enough, I don't think. It's just not going to be enough. Oh, if Chich had done that a couple of minutes earlier, he probably would have stole this match. But I don't think with 9 seconds to go that's going to happen. Brilliant idea to get right at the end, Chich. Brilliant idea. Just unfortunately a bit late. Well played, guys. Well played. Obviously, Buff, with the more kills, yeah, there was a lot of aircraft losses for poor Chich there. And the bombers and stuff were doing a really good job. And the anti-tank against the expensive Challenger 2s, or the Challenger Mark 2s, sorry. Yeah, look at the kills. Look at all of those there. I mean, absolutely stellar game, guys. Really thoroughly enjoyed that. Commiserations, Chich. I think you played exceptionally well. Fox did get quite a few kills in the end, even though it seemed to be missing a lot. Yeah. A challenging game for you both. Really enjoyed that. The longest game of the tournament so far. Well worth the watch. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon for some more WARNO.